Hey everyone, it's Enryu here, and this is the patch 13.5 Nilah itemization and runes guide. In this video, I'll be showing you the two builds that I think are currently the best for Nilah at the moment, and without further ado, let's hop right into it. First and foremost, I'll be showing you the beginner-friendly self-care Nilah build. This build provides tools to survive laning phase, and once you are scaled into the third item, you become a frontline monster with shields and lifesteal. I will keep the runes and item explanations as text on the screen, so pause if you need time to read over it. For the runes, we are going Conquer, Overheal, Bloodline, and Coop, or Cut Down, depending on the enemy team comp. If they have more bruisers and tanks, then we go Cut Down. Last Stand is not as good as an option with this build because this build is about staying healthy with lifesteal and shields. Therefore, we are not going to be as low as much to take advantage of Last Stand. For our secondary runes, we are taking Conditioning and Revitalize. For our items, we are building Berserker Greaves into Essence Reaver, then Bloodthirster, Navori's Quick Blade, and for our fifth item, we can choose between any mythic item or LDR. For example, if I choose to build my mythic item 5th, I will complete LDR as my 6th item. However, if the enemy are tanky, then I would choose to build LDR 5th, and then my mythic as my 6th item. I will now show how the early game build path should look like. We will be starting Doran's Shield or Doran's Blade depending on the bot lane matchup. If the enemy are double ranged, like Caitlyn Lux, then we will go D-Shield. If the enemy are more all-in like Samira Amumu, then we will go D-Blade. On our first back, we should at least be able to purchase a Vamp Scepter for 900 gold, and our second back, we should be able to buy Caulfield's Hammer for 1100 if we can, or components like a dagger or longswords if we don't have enough gold. By the time turret plates come down, we should at least have an Essence Reaver, attack speed boots, and Vamp Scepter. At this time, we are able to keep our health and mana high enough in order to stay in lane or on the map much longer and catch as many minion waves as we can. Once you have Essence Reaver and Bloodthirster, you will be significantly harder to kill in fights, so just look for engages on immobile targets constantly with your ultimate, while waiting to scale into Navori's Quick Blade. Once Navori's Quick Blade is finished, the amount of power Nilah has in skirmishes is absolutely insane. Just continue to take any picks that you can make with your ultimate, but make sure not to use it before an objective. For example, if Dragon is coming up in 60 seconds, save your ultimate for the big fight. Always try to keep track of the enemy summoner spells, especially on their carries. If the enemies have flashes, you may want to think twice before you engage. The remaining items you will buy are either LDR or a mythic item. The mythic item can honestly be anything you want to choose between these following items, but I recommend Eclipse. However, if you want to, you can build an item like Radiant Virtue as well. LDR has a massive value in this build because we are tanky despite not building any health items at all. Therefore, we can take full advantage of this item. This concludes the beginner build that I am showing in this video, but now we can move on to my favorite build, the Lethality build. This build is, to my knowledge, the highest damage ceiling Nilah can build. However, the cons of this build is that Nilah is extremely squishy, and you must be able to avoid making mistakes at all during fights. The reward of mastering this build is also very high though. You will be able to carry games extremely hard, killing tanks and carries in mere seconds. Here are the runes for the Lethality build. Your primary runes will be Conquer, Triumph, Bloodline, and Last Stand. Your secondary runes will be Magical Footwear and Futures Market or Cosmic Insight. I personally prefer Futures Market over Cosmic Insight, but it's all up to preference. Our starting items are Doran's Shield or Doran's Blade for the same reasons stated before. On our first back, we should purchase a Serrated Dirk for 1100 gold. And on our second back, we should buy a Zeal and Longswords if we have extra gold. By the time turret plates fall, we should have our mythic item plus Zeal. Our mythic item can either be Prowler's Claw or Eclipse depending on the enemy composition. If the enemy have more ranged threats, go Prowler's Claw. Whereas if the enemy have 4 or more melee champions, go Eclipse for more fighting power. In the mid game, we should have our core 3 items. Our Lethality mythic item, Zeal, Collector, and LDR. At this stage, you will have over 40 lethality and over 40% armor penetration, This means you will be doing true damage to almost everyone. And with magical footwear plus the Lethality mythic passive, we will have enough movement speed to make up for the tier 1 boots. After these items, you can look to build any situation items suited for the game. If the enemy have multiple AP threats, buy a Maul. If the enemy have multiple AD threats and nearly no AP, buy a Death's Dance. If you are confident in surviving but want to take over fights, buy Navori to do 1000 damage per Q. If you want damage but also want to be able to survive, buy a Bloodthirster. Guardian Angel is an okay item, but provides close to no value in terms of stats or scaling. If the game goes on for an insanely long time, sell magical footwear boots for an extra item, while upgrading the Zeal to a Phantom Dancer. With this build, Navori isn't necessary in every game. You will have enough damage with your first 3 items alone. With this playstyle, Nilah is a glass cannon at 3 items, but becomes a god after 5. In order to play this build to the limits, I recommend playing more Nilah with the beginner build to learn her kit and familiarize yourself with the champion. If you made it to the end, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. I apologize for not posting sooner as I had to deal with IRL issues as well as internet problems. I will try to post more often, and I have plans on streaming in April when other things have settled. See you next time.